rise again to glory then, soaring to the sky. If you stop and see, then you just might believe we're unstoppable, powerful, enough to beat the odds. If you love me, you will see the flames inside of me.
Everybody, and welcome back to Seduce Me, the Demon Warden. Oh my god, somebody help. My mouse is so sensitive. I can't even... Like, this is me drawing a small circle with my mouse. That's a small circle. Anyway, let's see if I can actually see if... I can touch the load. There we go. Where were we? October 23rd. Right? Right. October 23rd. Easy there, mate. October 23rd. I woke up in James' arms once more, slowly blinking the sleep from my eyes as my vision focused on his chest. As I stared, I vaguely pictured the cross burn over his skin, but was revealed to find no such thing there in reality. It had been just a dream. I looked up to see James smiling down at me softly before he kissed my forehead.
Good morning. Did you have a good rest?
I remembered the nightmare and suddenly became unsure of whether or not the truth was something he wanted to hear. I did rest, but I did wake up from that nightmare during the night. Was it worth telling him? Let's see if I can maneuver my way to Steam to check. There we go. Okay, yeah, we gotta tell him. We gotta tell him our problems. I had a nightmare again. I couldn't lie. I shook my head and the smile on Jim's face disappeared. As much as it would make him unhappy, it was better to let him know the results of his spell. I wasn't attacked by angels or anything, but you were...
I was.
You were. I ran my hand over his chest, imagining the burn from the dream emblazoned. Okay, on his skin. You were bolted to the wall and had a cross cut into your chest. It was burning and you were arguing with a voice in the air.
Cross. So it was an angel's work.
Why, though? James closed his eyes in thought, trying to figure out why himself. But as he opened his eyes to look at me, his smile did not return.
The spell I cast to protect you placed an image of me in your mind, like a guardian. If they came, my spell would have forced them to attack me instead. Luckily, it worked.
James ran his hand over my chest.
However,
Shake.
you still went through a nightmare. For that, I'm sorry.
James ran his hand over my chest. Those feel nice. Sorry. No, don't be. You protected me. So the dream was part of his spell. I felt relieved that it worked. The side effect was an image of James being hurt. At least it wasn't actually him. I ran my hand over James' cheek, smiling softly. Thank you. At last, James's smile reappeared before he softly took my hand and kissed my palm.
All for you, love.
Oh, sweet. A knock on the door, however, interrupted our moment gathering? Our moment gathering? Together.
Who is it?
Diana, I have food for you both.
Yeah. I looked to the door as James called out for her to enter. Tension between you two has been high. The door opened to reveal Diana with 2 plates of food, the same meal we had the day prior. She walked over and handed the plates to us before stepping back.
I assume that you both had a good rest.
Yes! Fantastic!
Yes, actually. We've worked out the angel problem for now.
Well then, I guess you don't need me. Diana raised her eyebrow, crossing her arms, but nodded in reply. Looking at Diana, however, I could see small dark circles beneath her eyes. Did she not rest last night? Diana, you okay? You look worn out. Diana stared at me for a moment before shaking her head.
I didn't get much rest. I spent most of the night dealing with some uninvited guests.
Yeah?
Should we be worried?
Again, he looks really unimpressed, like, whatever.
No, I have everything under control.
A part of me didn't believe her, but I nodded regardless. If she didn't wish to talk about it, then it was better not to ask about it any further. Diana turned on her heel and began to walk out of the room, but she stood at the archway and looked back at me.
If any angels come your way again, tell me.
With that foreboding warning, Diana left, leaving James and I unable to reply. What could we say to that? James had already placed a spell on me to protect me, and he seemed to be just fine. We would be fine. James and I ate our food before separating to train. Diana waited me in the great hall, her crossing her arms as I stepped inside.
Are you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am. I nodded. I was ready for whatever Diana had in store for me. However, I didn't expect the door into the room to shut on its own behind me, and for my body to freeze up. What the? Ooh. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, seeing her eyes glow a gold as she began to very slowly step towards me. Ooh.
What are you waiting for? Fight me.
Ooh. My body couldn't move. I felt warm and fuzzy inside, and tingling sensation running along my body and dulling my senses. As I stared at Diana, I felt myself notice every curve of her body, every stroke of her taint, every stroke the taint on her body painted over her skin became almost erotic to me.
The longer you take, the more enthralled you will become. Fight me.
My mind began to struggle naturally. I didn't want to fall for her. I was in love with my fiancé, not with the woman who tried to take him and his brothers away. For a good— Nope, not getting into this, not getting into this. Focus, you bitch! I took in a breath and focused, ignoring the hold of my body and concentrating on my own energy, attempting to flow through my veins. Did I say throw? I don't know. It was strange. I felt certain parts of my body were locked in place, and because of that, the rest of my body couldn't move. Was succubus enthrallment like that, or was this a new form of paralysis enthrallment? Oh, good. I had never noticed before, but now I was focused on it. I could feel my energy begin to break down and grasp that Diana's spell had on me. Oh, God. With each part of my body that broke free, I could feel myself gain more and more control over myself. My will became stronger, and I found myself smirking at the incoming Diana, who merely smirked back.
You're learning.
Yes, I am. Learning from the best. Yeah. With a final push, I forced the enthrallment off my body and chucked my circlet in front of me, forming a large floating ring around my form. Diana quickly formed her saber in her hand and charged at me full speed, causing the circular ring around me to break into multiple shards and dart at my incoming opponent like a volley. Whatever. Diana quickly parried and dodged with each one at ease, but I kept my focus to the circlet, causing it to form back together behind Diana into a large collar and flying at my target. Well, goodbye! I will see you later. Before Diana could even turn to react, the collar locked itself around Diana's neck and hair, causing her to gasp. I swiftly forced the circlet to pull Diana into an arc to the side, slamming her against the wall. I think I win. For a second, I panicked that I'd seriously hurt her, but at the same time, something within my gut felt a little satisfied that I had done that to Diana. Was it sadistic of me to take pride in fighting back? At that moment, something dark began to haunt my mind. What if I was able to kill her? I had my circlet around her neck. I could easily snap her neck with it. Whoa! Sexto! Whoa!
Why not? Wouldn't you like to exact revenge?
Whoa! Calm down now. This girl comes with sexy music all the time. I quickly removed my focus from the circlet to behind me, spotting the copycat Diana in the corner of the room, smirking from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat. The real Diana coughed and ripped the circlet from her neck, not yet able to notice the dark Diana in the room. You!
What? Aw, you let her go too soon, sweetie.
I glared hard, feeling my circlet form around my wrist as I turned to face a copycat of Diana in physical form, a dark aura glowing around her body. What the hell? Why was it here? Welcome back. Diana shook off the impact she absorbed from my attack and rushed in front of me, blocking me from the copycat's view.
Again, with the defending, Azeo. I have to say, it's rather annoying to see you defend a measly human. How did you come out of my body?
Magic! What? This is so flustered. This thing was in Diana's body? How? What was going on with this copycat and Diana? I became more and more confused as I stared. The copycat, however, laughed and crossed her arms under her bosom.
Your little training session with the human has made you weak. It was only natural to leave when the door was wide open.
Instantly, Diana's hand began to glow. A large purple snake-like tendril, slithered. I forgot the and. Diana's hand began to glow, and a large purple snake-like tendril slithered out from her palm. Diana arched her arm towards the copycat, wrapping the tendril around the copycat's neck, pulling it forward. To my surprise, Copycat simply braced herself with her heels digging into the floor and her hands around her new collar.
Our feud is between us. Go back to where you belong. You can't hide your feelings forever, love. The truth will come out sooner or later.
What did this thing mean? The truth? What truth? I began to question what it could be in my mind before seeing Diana send a wave of energy through the tendril and making the wrap around the Copycat's neck tighten.
I will not ask again.
Dookie. Hi, doggy. How you doing? With a hideous choked laugh, the Copycat's body began to shift and sway as if it was becoming a vaporous form. However, the mist channeled itself into Diana's tendril and faded into the tendril itself as the tendril itself began to vanish. With a heavy sigh, Diana curled over herself and shook her head.
Damn that thing.
You won't explain what's going on. Diana wouldn't turn to me, but my curiosity began to heavily peck at my mind. What was that thing really? How did it come to be? Why was it haunting Diana and taunting me? What was the truth Diana was hiding? What was that? I needed to know what was going on. It was like an itch that was desperate to be scratched, despite it not being my place to prod. Did I skip a line? Boop, boop, boop. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Diana paused for a moment before standing up straight and walking to the window, looking out of it and crossing her arms.
There's a term in the human world for it. When you are haunted and easily taken off guard after war.
I furrowed my eyebrows. I knew what she meant, but that was beyond what PTSD was. PTSD didn't make a physical apparition of yourself come to life. Post-traumatic stress disorder, but Diana, that can't be it.
Well, unfortunately, it's the only explanation I can give.
I don't understand. Sorry, I'm trying to reach for something. Come here. There you go. It didn't make sense at all. I could tell that Diana was lying to me, but why? Was the truth really that complicated or dark? Diana sighed and looked back at me.
The Demon Lord is a special kind of beast. He is a brute demon who rose above his nomadic birth and became the ruler of a kingdom after marrying a noble succubus. The eldest son's mother, I believe.
I stared wide-eyed. The Demon Lord was a brute demon? Wait. So, originally, he wasn't the king originally, but James's mother was. I see. I always thought that, I don't know, their mothers married in to be the queen for him, but it was the other way around for James's mother. I stared wide-eyed. The Demon Lord was a brute demon, so did that make James only a half incubus? The idea swirled in my head, noting how James seemed more of an incubus than a brute like his father. Diana continued despite my inner thoughts.
However, since that day, he became power-hungry and began his tyrannical takeover of every neighboring kingdom, plaguing the land with his iron fist. He took in 3 more wives and bore sons with them, and impregnated a harem girl, giving him a 5th bastard son. Eventually, his carnal need for control became the fuel for his madness. He grew rampant, and his sadistic views became much more destructive and bloody.
Diana looked to me with a thoughtful look before continuing.
In this world, madness isn't just an affliction of the mind. It is also a form of energy that grows like a festering disease. When it takes hold of you, you become reckless, mindless, soulless, and you become your own worst enemy.
Now everything was beginning to make sense. I stared at Diana, seeing the shame in her eyes. I could tell that this deeply troubled her, but she carried herself very well, despite being affected by this. So you have it?
I can only assume so. A mild form of it anyway. If you get too close to it, or get injured by it, like I have, then it will latch onto you and feed off of your own energy to grow. The results? Well, you saw for yourself, didn't you?
I nodded, remembering the copycat. While the Diana before me was a pretty decent person, the copycat seemed more of the Diana I had met in the human world who tried to take the boys away from me. It was in her speech, her stance, and I couldn't shake her smugness from my mind. A feeling of concern rushed through me. If madness was like a disease, was there a cure for it? Would Diana be haunted by it forever? Well, is there a way to get rid of it? Diana smirked for a moment, staring at the ground. What was so funny?
There's only a rumor of a cure, but it's impossible to achieve. At least for me.
What is it? As Diana looked back up at me, I could practically see herself bearing any emotion from the words that came out of her mouth.
True love. According to rumor, true love isn't just a silly emotion humans feel when they desire or care for someone. But it is also a pure form of energy, powerful enough to conquer worlds.
So, hold on. So the first playthrough with God be it Damien, when I got her and Sotto together... Wait, was the first one? Yeah, it was the first one. When I got her and Sotto together, she was cured? Bitch, just get with Sotto, you'll be all set. Oh, boy. My mind went blank. Love was a form of energy. I began to fill with both sudden determination and ideas of grandeur. I was in love, so I had to have it. Wait, then
True love doesn't exist, dear.
Bitch! Does too, just Dr. Sotto. And suddenly my thoughts broke again. What did she mean? The love I felt was real and it was a form of energy. Then it had to exist. The look in Diana's eyes could kill. However, as she almost glared daggers into my soul, as she almost glared daggers into my soul as she interrupted me. Okay. Diana chuckled and shook her head, crossing her arms under her bosom and leaning against one hip.
Think about it. If it was as powerful as the rumors described it to be, then you would be able to break the curse upon you with ease.
Oh. Yet I'm still here.
Besides, love doesn't exist for demons here in the demon world. I don't know how the incubi were able to achieve it, but in this world, love is non-existent.
Sotto's just like clutching his heart. Ugh! Okay, I get it. I pressed my lips together, irritated at the brush-off Diana was giving the idea of love being real power. Sure, it wasn't powerful enough to break the curse on me, but I could tell that the rumors weren't lying about it being a form of energy. Diana rolled her shoulders and ran a hand through her hair, running her fingers along one of her horns.
Luckily, I have Sotto to thank for keeping me in check.
Oh.
As long as I focus on defeating the Demon Lord and feeding off of Sotto, then the madness tends to stay down.
I wonder why else it stays down. I wonder. I thought of Sotto and how devoted he was to Diana. He seemed to really care for her, if not love her. If he was able to keep her madness down, did that mean that he was giving her the energy she needed to fight it off? Was Diana blind? After hearing her talk ill of love, I could only assume that she didn't care enough for it to believe it. I actually found it a bit hilarious to think about. That she was so naive about it that she couldn't recognize her own servant giving her a cure. Diana shook her head and turned to full face me.
Enough talk. We have to keep training.
But, oh. I could only agree. Still, I could feel like something was off. Diana was holding something back. We trained the rest of the day until night came. The day at last ended, and I wound up slowly walking towards my room. I was tired and ready to hit the pillow, but as I entered, I stared at who was there waiting for me. Sotto? Hi. I'm sorry if you hear that. My dog is snoring so bad. Oh, if only I could sleep that heavily. Sotto stood in the middle of the room, staring hard at me as if I had done something wrong.
Do you know what a stone destiny is?
No, but would you like to fill me in? Stone destiny? I'd never heard of such a thing. Did it have something to do with the angels? I tilted my head, making Sotto sigh and lower his head. I'm sorry, I'm human, bite me!
A stone destiny binds a person's entire life towards a specific direction. It could be for good, it could be for evil. However, when a stone destiny is set, almost nothing can stop it from taking its course.
Sorry, what? Why are you bringing this up? Why is my dog breathing so heavily? Good Lord, can you breathe? Sotto looked up at me and closed his eyes, resolved in explaining to me whatever was on his mind. What he told me, however, shocked me.
I believe that your fiancé is locked in a stone destiny.
Explain a stone destiny. Destiny to me again.
A stone destiny binds a person's entire life towards a specific direction.
Okay.
It could be for good.
Okay.
It could be for evil. However, when a stone destiny is set, almost nothing can stop it from taking its course.
Okay, when he first said that, I didn't really understand. Sorry.
I believe that your fiancé is locked.
Okay. What? That made no sense. Jim was locked in a stone destiny? What did that have to do with anything? Where did this come from? As Sotto watched my expression, he continued to speak.
There is only one way to forge a stone destiny. By making a deal with angels. If someone is willing to give angels something worthy, the angels can set and seal someone's life as if in stone. If anything threatens to destroy that destiny, the angels step in.
Like me? Dun dun dun! That was it. That was why the angels were after me. If James was tied to his stone destiny, then the only reason they were attacking me was because I was in the way of his fate. How could that be, though? What was his destiny? To become the next demon lord? Something in my mind clicked at the thought. Of course, that had to be it. I had taken James away from his destiny and was about to... Did his mother do the stone destiny thing? Because it was a woman's voice in the beginning. Oh, it's all making sense now. That had to be it. I had taken James away from his destiny and was about to marry him. Of course it would be after me. I sat on my bed, shocked and astonished at the news. I felt somewhat relieved that James and I had found some way to stop them, but I still felt... Get the hell out of here, Ed. But I still felt the weight of the new information sinking into my thoughts. Sotto stepped towards the door and closed it, looking to me.
Breaking a stone destiny is nearly impossible. Nearly.
Okay, so... I looked up at him, anxiousness growing as he repeated his words. There was a way to fix this and set James free? Then how can we set him free from it?
By giving him enough energy to do so himself.
Okay, which means... I stared. It made sense, but giving him energy meant probably sleeping with him, which I have no problem with. I didn't have much of a problem with it, but sex wasn't something I wanted to do just because it had to be done. Girl! Come on. It was better to make love when other people were involved. That's what I almost read. It was better to make love when the people involved were in the mood to do so, rather than because they had to. Sotto turned back to the door.
He is a powerful incubus, but he isn't powerful enough to break through his destiny unless you help him.
Okay. Before he left, however, I stopped him. Something seemed off with Sotto, being the one to tell me. Sotto, why are you telling me this instead of Diana telling me?
She isn't aware of it. Not many demons know of it or even believe it to be an actual occurrence.
Then how do you know about it? Sotto seemed to stand still, letting silence linger in the air. The room began to feel off as Sotto stood in place. I had felt this feeling before, but I couldn't pin down where. Now I'm scared. Look at Sotto. Are your eyes different, or is it just to me? Finally, Sotto slowly turned his head to me, causing me to silently gasp at what was revealed in his golden... Oh! In his gold eyes were crosses. I see it! Glowing a dark black where his pupils were. The feeling of feathers once again danced around me, causing me to quiver slightly.
Does that answer your question?
Not really! I nodded slowly but frightfully. Sotto was an angel? Well, kind of saw that one coming a little bit. That explains the freaking holy magic. How? He looked like a demon. No one mentioned him being anything close to an angel other than him using holy magic. Did Diana not know either? How was this hidden? Sotto closed his eyes and relaxed a bit as he pressed his lips into a fine line. You know, half of me is surprised and half of me is like, knew it.
I love my lady. I would follow her to the ends of the 5 worlds if she demanded it of me. To see the man she was bound to wed here, locked by a destiny that would have taken my love away long ago. It's maddening. The longer he stays here, the more dangerous his destiny becomes. I've seen visions of what would come to pass if his destiny is fulfilled, and I will do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
Dude, guys, is he like a fallen angel? Because that would be friggin' amazing. I could see the jealousy in Sotto's eyes once again. Something burned heavily in Sotto's gaze and didn't dare fade away as he gripped his spear in a white knuckled grip.
My lady is a queen deserving of the world, not a harem girl for him to ravage in a cage.
Memories of the nightmare I had long ago flickered in my head. Dan had been in a cage beside me. Did Sotto see the same thing? I didn't get the chance to ask. Sotto relaxed a bit and glared at me. I could feel a shiver rake up my spine at his words, as his words shook my core.
Do not speak of what I am to anyone, or I will set your destiny to die at your husband's hand.
Wow! I love you, Sotto, but wow! Okay, promise, these lips are sealed. Without letting me reply, Sotto turned and left the room, leaving me alone to absorb what had just happened. I felt the air in the room slowly drift back to normal, but I felt nowhere close to it. How was this happening? Why was this happening? Everything began to clash in my head, causing it to pound heavily in confusion and stress. My thoughts were interrupted as the door opened again, revealing James. Oh, boy.
Love? Are you alright?
Oh, boy, this is one for the diary. Oh, boy. James. Get up and kiss that bastard. Wait, just check one. Yeah, get up and kiss him. Good. I couldn't control myself. I needed some relief from this entire situation, and I usually found it in James's embrace and against his lips. I stood from the bed and walked over to him, wrapping my arms around him and pulling him into a kiss. James, taken by surprise, gasped against my lips before wrapping his arms around my waist and kissing me back. I almost said my back. I let my mind sink into a blank state as I drowned myself in the kiss between us. However, I knew partially why I was doing this, to give James energy. If energy was what he needed to fight this, then I was willing to feed it to him. James pulled away slightly and looked down at me. As he looked into my eyes, he stared in a soft surprise and confusion.
Love, is everything alright?
Wow, everything is not alright. Kiss him again, bitch. I didn't want to tell him what happened. I didn't want to tell him what happened. I didn't want him to know what was on my mind. I simply needed to help him in the only way I could, and I needed to not think about what was happening. I pulled him back and kissed him that much harder, wrapping my hands behind his head and gripping to him. I think one of my dogs farted. Son of a bitch. Ruined the mood. Sorry. And gripping to him tightly. James didn't question me further and tightened his embrace around me, deepening the kiss. Our mouths battled in a dance of dominance, with James winning and me giving into his passion. I found myself growing weak in the knees with his kiss between us, but at the same time was floating in mental cloud 9. I like that line. My mind knew I couldn't stop now. If he asked, I would come up with an excuse for my behavior, but I was slowly getting into the direction I was taking James towards. As one of its hands slowly slid down my back and hooked itself under my leg and behind my knee, I knew that this was my one chance to pull away before I let myself dive into the most needed sexual ride. Go all the way. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we're good. Boop. There you go. I needed him. There was no point in stopping now. Whoa, boy. I quickly grasped at his shoulders and pulled him, walking us back towards the bed and eventually falling back over it with him kneeling between my legs. My mind became mildly frantic, shutting out the world, the war, the castle, the other demons, everything from my mind. All I needed right now was James and his embrace to take me away from the night and make me forget. James slowly pulled away, a soft pant escaping him as he stared down at me. His pupils were blown in pure love and lust, gazing down at me with a hazy stare. James, I need you right now. At the sight of James suddenly licking his lips, something in my core trembled as his fingers slightly dragged themselves along my side and gripped my waist. I felt myself melt into the mattress beneath me. I had unlocked the beast within James and I was ready to take him. Screw the world for now. The night belonged to us and us alone.
Allow me to indulge myself first.
Go friggin' crazy. Oh. I felt a hint of confusion run along my mind before suddenly feeling James pull up my shirt and ease it up, causing me to lift my arms above my head. What I didn't expect was him trying to Whoa! Sorry, I read ahead. What I didn't expect was him tying the shirt around my wrist and pressing his hands back near the bedposts. I always thought Sam would be the one to do this, but apparently not. Oh, apparently James likes it rough. Okay. He likes it rough like a dog. Alright. What? A deep chuckle echoed from James' chest as he brushed a hand through my hair, making me gaze into his eyes. He didn't have to enthrall me to make me weak from him, but as his beautiful whiskey eyes began to glow brilliant gold, my body began to warm and shudder in desire. I couldn't stop an awkward moan from escaping my lips as James slowly knelt down and planted his lips on my neck, dragging his tongue over my most sensitive spot and slightly nipping at it. I tilted my head to the side, giving him more space to work as he slowly began to ravage me. My legs naturally wrapped around his waist, pulling him closer to me, but as I did, James evilly rolled his hips against mine, grinding... What was that? Was that my mouse? Okay, something blinked, sorry. Evilly rolled his hips against mine, grinding his knee against mine. Grinding his knee, and forcing us both to release a gasp at the feeling. Whenever I read this, I just picture the most stupid scenarios. Oh, gosh. Just imagine all this happening without the music. All I could think about was James touching me, holding me, kissing me, deviling in deep into me. My mind was spinning in endless waves of desire that I could barely control myself from pulling at my makeshift bindings and arching my back against James' chest. So are we... Is our back facing him or is our front facing him? See, when these sex scenes happen, I just can't figure out which position they're in. James merely paid in kind by moving his kisses to my lips. Okay, we're facing him, sorry. Because I don't see how he'd wrap his head around... Okay. Passionately dancing his tongue against mine in a battle of dominance. I was his to take, conceding defeat in his tango. I naturally tried to lower my arms back down to capture him between them, but James suddenly pulled away and forced my hands back up above me, making me gasp and stared wide-eyed into James' dominant gaze.
Keep them there.
Okay! I will, I promise! They'll stay, okay? I could not do that kind of sex. No, I personally not into the whole bondage thing. I'm into the nice, gentle stuff. Ugh. Just the thought of it's like, ugh. Mean. Thought of it's like mean. I didn't need to question him or his command. I feel my voice slowly fading away. I nodded, willingly obeying, despite knowing that his teasing would be the end of my sanity for the night. A smirk of approval slowly grew on his lips before he came back down and captured my lips again. I could only grip the fabric of my shirt around my hands, fighting every urge to disobey James as he traveled his mouth down my neck and chest, licking and kissing over my skin. Every part of me that was exposed to James became his to claim. Oh, my nose is just... Oh, boy. No, it's not bleeding. My nose is not bleeding. You all shut up right now. I'm fine. It just itches a little bit. Just nostril itches a little bit. Gosh, you guys are terrible. I just know what you're thinking. Every touch he made on my body, every finger that traced along my skin, made me shudder in absolute delight. My feet dragged themselves along the back of James' leg, teasing him and trying to urge him to come closer. As he did, took his sweet time undoing my pants. Take your time, James. And sliding them off me before removing his own, leaving us bare for each other. Woo! James barely hovered his lips over mine, staring deep into my eyes as our passionate night began to take off. Our carnal desire for each other took over, unrelenting as we moaned through the night together in a loving and passionate crescendo. I let everything go, tearing through the shirt, and eventually dragging my nails along his back. His pained hiss between his groans and pants made me lick my lips in almost a sadistic manner. You two are just so violent towards each other. My goodness. But feeling him slow and tease me as punishment reminded me who was in charge. Oh my goodness. Well, I guess apparently compared to James, Sam is the gentle lover. The only sound to accompany our loving pleas and moans for each other was the creaking of the bed and the echo of our voices. We didn't give a damn who heard us. We know what they're doing. Imagine, Sotto forgets to tell her something. He comes back, stops at the door and goes, I should probably come back later. The entire castle would know who we belong to, each other. Even as we peeked together, the fixation of our love only intensified, driving us to kiss each other and ride through the afterglow of our sex together. James managed to open his eyes, staring down at me in both exhaustion and love as he ran a hand through my hair. I could only stare back, lost in his whiskey-colored eyes.
I'm so...
No, okay.
unbelievably blessed to call you my own.
Yes, you are. Want to treat me a little more gently now? Me too, James. Me too. Our love fueled each other like a raging fire. We were destined to be together. Fuck anyone who said anything otherwise. We went to bed that night in each other's arms, enveloped by a peaceful dark of slumber. To my surprise, no nightmares came that night. Too tired, bruh. And I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna end it on that note right there. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.